fatherhood's a major problem, who do they find as role models?
It hurts kids.
Where are the fathers?
I'm like, mama, send that boy to go stay with his daddy.
Possessions or whatever.
Yeah. Vindictive and bitter with the dad, that they'd rather their son fail than have the father in a child's life.
This is King Randall, and he is on the Sean Ryan podcast. Let's check it out.
Where do you think some of the problem stems? I mean, we talked about fatherhood at the very beginning. Do you think fatherhood is a major problem in that area?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. The lack of true male presence is probably one of the bigger issues. In order to be a man, you have to see a man. That's it. And people will try to say, oh, well, my mom, raised me by herself and I was a good man. I said, if your mom raised you by yourself and you became a good man, it's because you was on a football team, you had a gym coach somewhere, you had male presence in your life. Your mom wasn't the sole person raising you completely. You never ran into any other men that had any impact on you. No, absolutely not. And moms will be honest about that. But I'm like, just do not sit here and tell me that your mom never put you on a football team, never let you play basketball. You never had a male teacher anywhere. You never had no male presence at all, and you became a great person. I believe you have to have that balance. Any single moms that have raised good men is because they put them around good men too. Yeah, they might have done it by themselves, but they also put them on football teams. A lot of single moms will make sure their kids are in sports. They will make sure their kids have some type of male around them, good moms anyway, to make sure that they become something successful. Because most moms who refuse to put men around their sons usually end up some gangbanger, etc. Like I guarantee it, and I've seen it, and I can say this because I've worked with children for so long. I can guarantee that's what's happening, like every time. And again, some parents, they don't want to parent. They don't want to be a parent. They're just having sex and having kids and don't want to parent. Some people try to use us as a second parent, and so they don't have to do nothing.
So I just want to get this out of the way. This is a very impressive man right here. I didn't know that he was only 24 years old, right? And is also the founder of the X for Boys program that addresses crime and poverty that affects young men in his community. Young guy here doing great things.
Granted, I try to, do what I can with their sons, but it's hard because I need your assistance, mom. Like, I really need your help, with him. You can't just throw him off to me because the program's free. You can't just throw him off to me. But, coming now in March, we will have rules for parents. And as much as I don't want to, we will kick some children out of the program because of their parents. And because I want the parents to be accountable also. And I have to be a little cutthroat like that. As much as I may love that child, and much as I may have built a relationship.
This boy looks sharp. Come on, man.
If that mom does not assist us with her child in a meaningful way, we will let them go from the program.
Wow. I mean, so with the lack of fathers, where are the fathers? Where are they at? What are they doing?
Let's get into the realness. We got a lot of moms also that have fathers that do want to be dads.
Come on.
But they are so vindictive and bitter with the dad that they'd rather their son fail than have the father in a child's life.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
This is the part where I'll play my sound effect, guys. It's not working today. Let's keep listening.
I am dead serious. I've had conversations with moms where they tell me, I'm like, where the daddy at? I'll make contact with the dad. Dad say, I live in North Carolina or I live in this city, but she never wanted me. They'd have moved on, got kids of their own with their new wife or whatever like that. She never want me to see him. I'm like, mama, send that boy to go stay with his daddy. He don't need the Ace of Boys program. He needs his dad. Send him with his father. What are you doing besides sitting up here complaining about you doing it by yourself? It's like moms have this new thing now where they proud. It's like they have to say, I'm doing it all by myself and I'm trying and I love my child, and putting them on Facebook and pretending you was a parent at graduation, and they turned out to be some terrible person because you was too proud to keep their father in their life. I've run into that so many times with moms who didn't just send the child to stay with his father. You don't need him. You don't need to be trying to raise him by yourself. Send him with his dad because he needs his actual father. He don't need somebody trying to get to play father.
Right.
He needs his real father. But because they are so bitter, and the court system, which I hate, benefits mothers more than fathers who want to be dads. It hurts kids. It hurts children. They send, these kids to stay with moms, or like I never forget. It's a few cases where moms will be on drugs and they'll give it to the mom before they give it to the father. Like, I watch these court cases, and I have said before that custody court needs to be a jury. I have said that over and over again. It does not need to be a judge because it's based off of how this judge feels today.
It's interesting. What do you guys think of that? Jury instead of a judge. That would change a lot of things. Never heard of that concept before. Because as you can assume, right, if you have a judge looking at a situation, a lot of attorneys, I've interviewed a couple of attorneys, they've been very straight up with me and said, hey, it matters the relationship you have as an attorney with that judge if he's the one who is the deciding factor over your case. But if you have a jury there, that could change a lot of what's going on, especially if you have a jury of men included.
What if they don't like you today, or what if they mad or whatever? It needs to be a jury. I believe a jury of our peers needs to decide where custody goes. We need to be able to prove why I'm a fit parent, for my child. I have said if we having a custody battle, let's talk to a jury about it. It does not need to be one judge, or I'm trying to prove to this judge while I'm a good dad, etc. I don't understand why that isn't a jury trial. And that's something I want to fight for, because I ran into that issue, in divorce at one point or whatever like that. Like the lawyer was telling her to keep the kids away from me. And so because she didn't have any knowledge, she, thought she was doing the right thing because that's what the lawyer told her to do. And she told the lawyer, she was telling me after it was over, she was like, well, I told him he was a good dad and everything. I didn't understand what he was telling me to keep the kids for, but I was doing it because that's what he told me to do.
Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
I said, don't you ever in your life let somebody tell you to keep your kids away from the dad. Like she said, that's what the lawyer was telling her. And I was like, well, why wouldn't he be looking out for the best interest of the kids? Because I had already offered, multiple different things, when I got a divorce, for her to be okay. I left the house, left her the car, etc. I just wanted out, at that time. But I just wanted to make sure I had, proper custody with the children because I wanted to make sure I'm raising my sons. And he was telling her to try to get full custody, etc., etc. And so, of course, we ended up working it out privately or whatever like that. And we eventually, worked out our own custody agreement or whatever like that. But I'm just like, man, imagine if I wasn't able to afford a lawyer. Or imagine if I wasn't able to afford, these different incentives for her, etc. like that.
Right.
The regular guy get railroaded and can't see his kids for no reason. No matter what happens in a marriage, etc., etc. If both parents are fit, both parents should be able to see their kids at an equal amount of time. It shouldn't be, oh, well, you can't see them because this is what the judge decided. Like, that's insane.
Guys, I'm absolutely captivated by this whole story. I'm hearing this for the first time myself. I haven't actually watched this the whole way through. I might have to check out this whole full podcast. There's one video that led me to this story. And the first time, and I should have looked more into it. The reason why I decided to be like, okay, I need to cover this, because I saw this video here a while back of him showing kids how to do some mechanical work on cars. You could check it out here. And people didn't like this video. We'll get into that.
Right here, you see it? See how thick that is right there? If it needed to be changed, it would be way lower. Like it would be way close down. So you got a lot of thickness right there. That's how much thickness you got right there. You understand? Yeah. You got plenty of time, but that's how you replace them. You replace it the same way you take it out. You understand? Yeah.
And so when I first saw this, I didn't know who this was. I just saw, okay, here's obviously very, he's taking time out of his day to show young boys how to do something constructive that they will eventually very much appreciate. They know, and the people around him will thank him for. I checked the comments, and there are people saying, I kid you not, there are people saying, why is he making them say, yes, sir? It sounds like slavery to me, or it sounds like manipulation. And I thought to myself, I said, wow, mostly women. I said, this is insane. We're literally living in an insane era. And I think that's part of the problem. You have to make sure you're intentional and build thick skin around your children, especially your sons, because it's like they've conditioned everyone around to not recognize what respect for an adult looks like. And they've labeled that as toxicity, what masculinity looks like. And they've labeled that as toxicity as well. And everything is just flipped upside down. It's disgusting. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing as far as I'm concerned. Top comment says, custody court needs to be a jury. Preach, my man. Somebody else here added, we must never stop talking about the role father figures play in our lives. Here's somebody else who says, I went from a D to F student living with my mother to moving in with my dad at age 15 and being on honor roll the very next year. I'll tell you guys my own story. You know, my mom for 7 years, because when we migrated here from Zambia, for about 7 years, we weren't with my father, right? I wasn't living with him. And that's because we came right before 9/11 happened. And then they got really strict with who they were letting in. During that time, I also was not really performing well in school. My dad came. I told you guys, next day I'm getting whooped, right? Imagine not seeing somebody for 7 years and they're whooping. I was a very defiant child. Not horrible, but I just didn't care, right? I didn't see the importance in listening to adults. Not disrespectful, but just kind of stayed to myself, did my own thing. Then my dad started giving me and my sister math lessons. And I wasn't performing well in math at all, right? My sister, she was doing very well, but I wasn't. And he would wake us up every morning. My dad was a math teacher, right? But by profession, he was an accountant, but also was a math teacher at some point in his life. I started to improve, right? Because he took time out of his day to teach and the whole other things, man. And I needed everything that I experienced going forward from the presence of my father. So from a personal experience, I think this is a very beautiful thing.